up, you guys? It's Sam, and we are back with another episode of Pessimistic at Best, the podcast. And I have my amazing friend Ashley here with me today. What's up, Ashley?
Hey, what's up?
I'm so excited to do this, especially just because, it's been a few months since we've been able to connect face to face, or I guess in this case, like Zoom to Zoom.
Been a while.
But that is our kind of FaceTime these days. It's all digital, which I'll take what I can get, but I am definitely having some like Zoom fatigue. I don't know about you or like how much, do you work from home right now?
Yep. It's been a year, officially a year, and God, I don't even know. It's been insane.
I know. And like I was just talking about this with some of my coworkers. I literally just got a new job. We'll get to that later, but it's been like a month and I was just talking with them like I'm definitely having some Zoom fatigue, but like more so the work kind. Like I look forward to my social Zooms. Like my podcast I would say is more of a social Zoom. But yeah, I don't know. Like it's different. It's just kind of a different kind of communication. Like as much as I want to say that it fills the void of socializing in person, it's just not really the same, you know?
Yeah, I agree. I actually started at my current job like a month before COVID became extremely intense. So I haven't really had the opportunity to actually hang out with people and actually have that physical connection and conversation and stuff. It's all been through a computer, and it's nice, but at the same time it's just kind of harder because either they're in other meetings or they have other things to do. It's not like, hey, do you want to go and get coffee? It's more just hey, do you want to Zoom for half an hour and hang out? There's that missing connection.
I know. Well, okay, that's so true. And I was feeling that way too. And I was kind of even just trying to break it down and unpack really why it feels so different. But I was thinking about the fact too that now when I'm Zooming with coworkers and things, especially in that sense, it's almost only work related because we're just so it's a little bit harder to initiate. You don't have the same water cooler talk as you would in an actual office when you're just hanging out with your coworkers in between meetings or whatever. So then everything is so it's only work, which is fine. I guess we're probably more productive, but I miss being hey, how we just were talking about your adorable dog. I just want to, those are the things I want to be discussing with my coworkers. So, I mean, it's it has its pluses because I'm down to Zoom and I like seeing people, but it just doesn't do the trick. But here we are complaining, which is so perfect for this pod because I am happy that we're Zooming right now, especially because, it has been a while since we've been able to touch base. I guess I should let the listeners know we used to both work at the same job, which is how we were introduced. And now we're kind of on to, some new adventures, both of us. But it's probably been, I think that was maybe the last time that we connected in person, realistically, although I've run into you every once in a while, so I could be mistaken.
Yeah, I feel messaged maybe a month ago, but I haven't seen you in a while.
I know. And it's so funny because the way this year is going, I'm has it been a full year since I've seen you or was it last week? The time all kind of blurs together. But
it does, yeah.
Yeah, I guess I kind of want to dive into some of our fun topics that I outlined for today. And I'm just excited to touch base with you because, I don't know, you're such a creative person. And I'm also excited to bring you on the pod because you're such a positive person. And I mean that in the absolute best way. I have so much to learn from you and my little pessimistic Patty self over here. But yeah, like you are just literally such a positive, bright light. And you're also just such a creative. And like, I feel like, you know, we have some similar interests for sure. But I definitely want to talk about your schooling even, because I know you went to the Madison Media Institute, which is so cool. And like, there's a part of me, like I did the 4-year thing. I liked some of my degrees and some of the classes I was able to take, but like a lot of it, I don't necessarily think is serving what I'm actually doing now. And I almost wish I would have gone to like a more creative school like that. I think mine would maybe be more for something like writing, but like, you know, you went to such a, I guess, like specialized, like you really got to focus and hone in on your skills, which is so cool. And I think you're an amazing graphic designer. So I guess I'd love to just kind of hear more about what that experience was like for you, because that's fucking awesome.
Well, thank you. So I have an associate's degree. I started school in 2014 and I finished in 2016. So a lot of the college material was a lot of like projects and stuff. It wasn't like we had like one class per semester that had to do with like the history of art, and we had like a writing class. We had, goodness, what other kind of classes do we have? Just like the general eds, but it was only like one per semester. And then we had like a portfolio class and like logos and kind of all sorts of different like medias. So I guess, I mean, my degree is typically in design. And then I have like a minor in web design, although that's a whole like another thing that's extremely complicated. It's like either you understand it or you don't. There's no like in between. And I really loved all of my professors there. One of them, who was actually also the art director of MMI, he actually worked with like Coca-Cola and Disney.
Oh, shit.
And all these like really huge companies. And he also worked on, I think, the first, the third, and the fifth Star Wars like trilogy. And he was like the art director, and he's like a huge fan, and that's pretty much all he likes to talk about.
Well, that's fucking awesome. Yeah, I would want to talk about that too.
He was great. He was always so hard on us, but you just knew that he was very like passionate and he cared about us and he wanted us to succeed. So
I know that's always huge. And I feel like you get, not that like my professors didn't necessarily care about us, because they did, but they're with us, you know, for maybe like one class, one semester. And like I feel like you get maybe a little bit more of a personal connection with your professors. And in that sense, you kind of get, I mean, you can speak to this, I'm sure, but just like a little bit more guidance, which I think is something I sort of wish I had when I was in school. Like it's, you know, not that I need hand holding, but like, sure, maybe a little, like a little bit of that is always nice. So, but yeah, I didn't realize that you did web design as well. I mean, is that like straight up like building websites or like designing them, I guess?
I just mainly did that in college.
Okay.
And I passed the first class, just A's. And then I got to like the more advanced things. And I was like, I don't understand this. Like it's so complicated, because if you put something in the wrong space, it like breaks the whole thing. So then you have to like go in there and like, I don't know how to fix it. But for me, it was I really liked package design.
Oh,
I was
sweet.
like loved that at one point. Let me see, like branding. I liked that, and like logos were okay. I do feel like though my career has kind of shifted like quite a bit. I did start off in like design stuff, and then I kind of moved more into like digital things, and now I feel like I'm more in like the like email kind of space at the moment. And I think something that I've learned in my career is to just be very like flexible and not just to hone in on one kind of like thing that you were taught or that you went to school for, because it's just, especially when you're in like the creative
Hmm.
field, or I guess specifically in design, it's super competitive. Like, there are not that many jobs out there, but there are so many that want it.
Hmm. I know that I totally agree. And I think that that's one of those things too, where, I mean, because it is so creative, like a lot of it, like, yes, you'll learn kind of the foundation, like the basic skills in college or in your schooling, but I feel like so much of it you're going to learn just by doing anyways. So you can't really, yeah, like I agree with you. Like you can't, I don't know, it's not just always so like put in a box, you know? So I think that's really good advice. And like honestly hard to follow too in practice, because sometimes you just get stuck or you're in a pattern. Like I've felt that way in the past with projects I've been working on, and it's kind of like, well, we're just sticking to my template or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, I did see that you were in the email space. I absolutely LinkedIn stalked you before we got on here
I saw
today.
that. I saw that.
That's what I hate about LinkedIn. It tells on you. Like I knew that you were probably going to see that I'm like checking out your page, but that's okay. While I'm there, I'll have to like endorse you for some skills to make it worth my, you know.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. But yes, but I totally was LinkedIn stalking you. And yeah, like I think that it's fun to kind of switch lanes like that. Like, I mean, you'll have to tell me, because are you doing is essentially like newsletter creative style emails and stuff? Yeah, like that's fun. I like designing those. I do one of those for this podcast. I think I have like 5 subscribers, and one of them is like, James. So, but that's okay, and like it is kind of fun. I mean, I'm using MailChimp, which is it's a little bit of a learning curve because it's tricky software sometimes.
Mhm.
But yeah, I like it. Are you like doing that? You like doing that right now?
Yeah, I'm kind of like, because I've been at my job now for like a year and a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of thinking I still want to stay in like the digital kind of field, because I feel like that's like needed, especially now with a lot of people staying at home and having to
Mm-hmm.
connect virtually. But I'm kind of interested in like user experience
Oh,
and
sweet.
how the
Yeah.
emails are, I guess, how people like use them and how it like looks and how it's like responsive. So I'm thinking of maybe kind of transitioning into something kind of like design and like email or some kind of digital thing with that. There is like opportunity for growth, possibly in our department at some point soon. But I am very happy with where I'm at, especially at the fact that like I started right before the pandemic hit,
Mm-hmm.
and I'm truly like grateful for that. So
Yeah, oh, totally. I know. Well, that was like kind of a big part of the reason that I started looking to switch gears jobs wise. Honestly, like the pandemic, I guess, brought some clarity along with a whole bunch of other bullshit. But, if I had to pick like the one good thing that came out of it, yeah, like I kind of just started, I think it put into perspective that I really wanted to find something that felt like me, like I was using my skills. And so, and especially during this time, you're kind of sitting there and being like, okay, what's actually important to me? Because like a lot of the world is a mess. And so I would at least like to get a couple things in order, So I totally feel that. Well, that's awesome. I'm so happy to hear that. And I mean, and it's funny too, because when you and I were just kind of chatting pre-podcast recording and getting prepared, like I think that's something that I feel very passionate about as someone who, has like dabbled in graphic design. I can do a little something in Canva if you really need, and that's about the extent of my experience. Like, I just don't think that people understand the work that it takes to do things like mock up an email or build a logo or create graphics, whether that be for social or like ads or whatever it is. Like, I think it's a super undervalued skill, not to people who are in it, because obviously, I think for the most part, creative minded people understand, but like in my experience, so many people just don't. It's like, not only is it kind of undervalued, but it's just really underestimated. Like, I don't think people understand the time it takes, how much it should realistically cost. I feel like people are always trying to lowball you. Not that like at our age, we're really setting our own prices a ton, but like even in terms of salary or whatever it is, like not that we need to like rat out your, any past employers or current ones, but like, I just feel like and you tell me if that is your experience as well.
Oh God, yeah. I
Yeah.
think I feel like a lot of things too, especially like in the design field, they're either underpaid, they're not paid at all, or it's a lot of like contracted stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Especially in which is kind of why I kind of shifted my career, was because I've had probably 4 or 5 jobs since I've been out of school. And I don't know, I just feel like it wasn't consistent enough for me. And I don't know, I just feel like there's like a whole process to making something, because there are like certain steps where you have to like research what you want to do and take notes and come with brainstorming and making sure it's all how it's supposed to be for the company, and then you have to make it, and then you have to send it to the team to review it, and then you have to like, it's just a whole big thing. It's not just like, oh, I'm just gonna make something in a minute. Like it takes time, and also you kind of get what you pay for, I
Oh,
guess.
totally. Yes. I know. Well, and like, yeah, that's so true. And I feel like so often people are kind of just like budgeting based on the deliverables or like what they're actually getting out of it, but not like, yeah. And then they don't understand everything that goes into it, which is not fair. So that's definitely how I've seen it. I mean, and like, I feel like people. Because, okay, at a company like yours right now, is it like solo? Like, are you the only person on email marketing, or are there like, do you have a team kind of that you can bounce ideas off of?
Yeah, so our whole department has been at my company, or has been developing for 5 years. So it's still quite new. So I have a manager who I report to. He's kind of like more on the back end of things. So kind of more with like the user experience and making sure everything is well like organized. And then there's me, and there's also one other person. She mainly does a lot of like website management, just kind of uploading content and stuff and making
Mm-hmm.
sure that's all up to date. So I wouldn't say I'm the only one, but I take on a lot of the stuff, which isn't
Totally.
bad.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, okay. And that's so funny
It's
too.
not bad.
Yeah. Like in my experience, there's like such a balance between having creative control, but then of course also like having people you can lean on because like you kind of want that perfect mixture, but I think that's really hard to find. Like sometimes I want to be the only hands on it in a way, but at the same time if I'm the only eyes or if I don't have support, then all of a sudden it becomes so much work on my plate. And that's for all sorts of creative projects. Like for me, that's definitely the case when it comes to writing and editing, social media management, any of those things. And like, I know, because you've dabbled, like you've definitely done social, graphic design, emails, like all of the things. Mm-hmm. And actually, that's kind of a part of it too. I feel like so often people are like, oh, you're good at graphic design, which means you can run my social channels, do all the graphics, write all the emails. Like, it's like, hey, I didn't agree to all of this. And also, if you do expect this of me, I expect a raise.
Yeah, well, even when you like look at design, positions and stuff out there, it's like you have to have like a bachelor's degree, which you don't have to have a degree in order to be a successful, designer and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And then they want you to know social media. They want you to make graphics. They want you to know how to shoot videos, which I didn't go to school for that. Photography, like I didn't go to school for that either. And design, it's like, if you are hiring a person, in my opinion, you need to put them in a specific like niche or like have a specific like goal for that person instead of having to do everything, because then they are going to fall short and not meet your expectations.
Oh, 100%. I know. And I feel like, yeah, that's so true. Like people will just be like, oh, you're a creative. Like it's this overarching thing. And then you can just do all of the things. Like absolutely not. I don't know the first thing that comes with video editing. I don't know how to, I shoot photos with my iPhone. I'm not, I'm not going to call myself a photographer. Like I'm not all of those. Yeah. And that is like definitely, that just kind of, I don't know why that is. Like if it's just that, CEOs don't really understand creative people, or they just think we're all encompassing, but that is not the case. I can vouch for that. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know where that comes from. I feel like sometimes it's like a lack of them not having enough money to like support like a whole team. So then they're like, okay, let's just put everything into one and see what happens. Right. I'm like, good luck with that.
Yeah, seriously. I know. Okay, well, that is so true. And I guess something that I would love to know, because I think it's really cool that you kind of knew I knew I wanted to do something creative, but I didn't know what, at least around the time that it came to going to college, which is, I think, also part why I ended up at like, your typical 4-year school, which is fine, but it doesn't have to, people just see that as such the fallback option, as I did. So that's what I kind of went and did. But yeah, like I think if I had almost just been a little bit more in touch with like somehow, I don't know, like I also didn't really know the kinds of jobs that were out there for the things I like to do. Like I knew I liked writing, but then I can't just like go and be an author at 18. I don't know what I'm doing. So like, like it was like, okay, people who like to write books. Like it wasn't like there are so many, a copywriter, a this, a that. Like, and it kind of took me some time to, I guess, figure that out. But because you definitely were in touch with kind of your creative side, and you seem like you kind of had a really good vision for what you wanted to do. So yeah, I would love to know more about that. Like, did you take really cool classes in high school that led you to want to be kind of on the graphic design field, or how did that work?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I was actually thinking about this before we hopped on here. So I guess first I took an animation class when I was, 16, I think. Mm-hmm. And that was kind of the start of like, oh, I kind of want to, do something with art, but I don't know what exactly. And then I started taking it, and it's extremely time consuming. And then I was like, this is not for me. And then freshman year of high school, I think it was around the same time, I had a teacher, and she had a design course. And I was like, ooh. So then we kind of went through all of like the steps of creating. I think we did like a package design once. We did like a 3D model, like light fixture, which looked freaking awesome.
Sweet.
And she really inspired me. Oh, also I had so at my high school we had like semester long art based projects where we took an art form and then some sort of like a general ed class, and we kind of tied it together. And for one of my
Ooh.
projects, I made an album cover. I don't like it now. I thought it was great when I first made it. I've learned a lot since then, but I still have it at my mom's.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah. So she really influenced me into continuing to make art, and I think that was the only class that I had of hers, and then I think she like moved. But I still kept taking art, and then our school actually went to MMI
Oh,
to tour the
nice.
school. And I didn't go to any other schools. I really wanted to go to MMI. Like my heart was like set. I'm like, that's it. I know I'm going to come here. And then
That's
I
fucking
came here.
awesome. Yeah. That's you manifested that. That's amazing. Well, I love that. Yeah. I mean, and I think it's really cool that you got the opportunity to work on kind of like a portfolio. I think that would have been something that would have been helpful in school as well. Just because it kind of gives you more of that like professional experience. I mean, and like I had some of that in a way, but I had to seek that out almost more through extracurriculars, like writing for the local or the campus, like fashion and lifestyle publication, things like that. Like that was kind of, you had to seek that stuff out on your own. And I think almost having those kind of projects would be really cool too. Like, is that something then that you got to take and submit to jobs afterwards, essentially? Like
For the high school stuff or college stuff?
the college, because you did a portfolio work in college, right? Like
Yeah.
that's kind of part of the MMI experience.
Oh, yeah. Fifth semester, fourth and fifth, that's like everything. It was just like pound, 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 pound. I'm like, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm gonna
I'm sick of my
explode.
portfolio. Yes, right,
Um,
exactly.
yeah. Yeah. So our professor, he provided us like a list of like 10 like project briefs, you could call them. And they all had to meet specific criteria, but we could be extremely like creative and just make whatever. I made a couple package designs. I did like a skateboard shop and like shirts and stuff, and like a
Sweet.
website like mock up for that. What else? I did like some logo designs. I did book covers. So like you have to have a variety of things.
Hmm.
But I just remember like coming out of college, and it was so hard, so competitive because, everyone's coming out of school around the same time, and everyone's, applying to the same things. And it actually took me 9 months to get
I feel that.
hired. So
Hmm.
that just tells you how competitive that is. But it was a fun time, very stressful.
I'm
But
sure.
I feel that like if I didn't experience that and if I didn't go through that, I wouldn't end up where I'm at now.
Yeah,
So yeah.
totally. Okay, well, you have to tell me because I guess I have you done freelance work as well? Like have like just on the side, like do you sometimes do freelance?
Yes. And I don't like it.
Okay, fucking same. I
I
have so
don't
much
like it.
complaining about freelancing. Well, first of all, it's like fucking impossible. Like, it just is so hard. And like, that's one of the experiences for me, at least as a writer, where I've gone and like so much of the time, the publications, like, you don't get paid half the time because they're like, oh, you're a freelancer. And in addition to that, we know that you like having a byline in our publication looks good for you. And so we're doing you a favor actually by publishing your work. And it's like, well, fuck that. Like, what? Like, how will I ever get paid if the publications that I'm writing for don't fucking pay me? Like, this is not, it doesn't make any sense.
It's like, it's for the experience. Well, I need food. I need to like live out here.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the one common thing. It's like, well, you get experience. And I'm like, what does that even mean?
I know. And like experience doesn't pay the bills. Like I'm not trying. Also, living life just is experience. If I'm going to keep getting experiences, I have to actually get paid because this is America and money matters. But yeah, I mean, that's like it's hard, and it's really hard to like search out work. Like I feel like half the time is spent just like pitching ideas, and like that's time I'm not getting paid for because that's just kind of me running around and hoping to find a project to work on. And like there's a part of it where I try to remain positive, which is not in my nature, but I'll be like, like searching for like this is a way to keep my creative outlets alive outside of like my 9 to 5 or whatever. But like at the same time, it's so much fucking work. Like freelancing is a full-time job. It doesn't matter if you're doing it on the side. It's so much work. And like, I don't know, you never get paid fairly. So it's kind of bullshit anyways.
Well, for me, it's like, so when I was more in like a creative field, so I would do that and then I would make art on the side, and it sucks like the energy out of you, and you're like, I just want to make art for fun. I don't want to have to always make art and have to be like, okay, how much are they gonna pay me? Or like I think that's the one thing that kind of made me transition, is just that I feel like I was so stressed out in finding that creative like energy that also like paid me okay, and they like valued me and my time, and where I could just feel comfortable. It's just so frustrating.
I know. Well, and there's something to kind of like to your point, like there's something about almost like always seeking out validation for the things that you create, whether that is like getting paid fairly or just even having someone take you up on a freelance opportunity or whatever it is. Like that also, yeah, like it kind of weighs on you. Like you're like, oh, okay, I'm doing the things I love, but I'm like I'm not really doing it for me. So like, who is it for? Like that does just kind of like weigh on you. Like I feel that for sure. That's like a perspective I hadn't really thought of, but that is very true.
And for me, I kind of like more structure, and I feel like I get that more from working for somebody rather than for me. I'm horrible at that because it's like you get off at 4:30 and you're like, I'm kind of hungry. I'm gonna watch some TV, or I'm gonna go to sleep because I'm exhausted. So it's kind of like you kind of like put it off, and it's like you have to, but you kind of do not want to. But then you're like, I'm gonna get paid for this, so maybe I should. That's how I personally feel about it. It's not so much like fun. It's just kind of like a chore. But that's just me. Like I know others who thrive and they just love it. But for me, it's more of like extra like money on the side, like an extra little side hustle.
Right. I know. And I guess I will say too, it's such a balance for me. I definitely feel where you're coming from, because sometimes I'm like, I just, you don't get as much creative freedom in that case, or like it's not even necessarily your idea. Like you're just kind of bringing someone else's idea to life, which is fine. I go back and forth on that, because I know like for Brava, when I was writing for, it's a local women's magazine here in Madison, when I was freelancing for them a little bit more frequently than I have been recently, like a lot of the time they would come up with the topic idea and like even tell me maybe who I'm going to go interview. And like sometimes having that amount of structure, I was like, oh, sure. Like, then I don't have to come up with something or think about it. But at the same time, then it's not always a topic I'm like super passionate about. I mean, no matter what, at least for Bravo, like normally we're talking to really cool gals in Madison, Wisconsin, which I love. So like I got to hear cool stories. But yeah, like definitely sometimes it was issues that didn't pertain to me. Like, I don't know, random health issues that I've never experienced, or parenting, which, like I don't have a kid, so I can't really relate, but more power to you, mom, like you're doing it. But yeah, like I feel that like, it's just not always it's not your baby, it's someone else's and you're raising it.
Well, I feel like that, and like for me, it's like, oh, I don't know what I want. I don't know what kind of logo I want. What do you think? Do you think you could give me some things and sketch out some stuff and send it to me? And I'm like, honey, like this is for you.
Yeah. Right.
Like, when you come to me, at least have an outline of what you want.
Mm-hmm. An idea or two, a little something, like, could you give me some details? Yeah, right, exactly. Oh my God, yeah, so open-ended. Just like, here's my business. Help.
And I'm like, hey,
yeah.
Cool.
Good luck with that. Yeah. Okay, well, I feel that for sure. I don't know. Like, I'm glad to hear that you really like being in the job that you're in, because I am very happy at my new job. I'm glad, I just feel like that's good for us right now, especially in the middle of this absolutely insane time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I mean, it's been a while since we've caught up anyways. Like, I know you were just in DC. I would love to hear about your trip and what else has been keeping you busy outside of, our jobs that just totally, we're grinding for the man, but outside of that, we're living our best lives.
Yeah, so my girlfriend and I went, God, it feels like forever ago, and like we just like came home. We left on the 18th and we came home last week, Tuesday.
Okay, that's a decent trip, yeah.
Yeah, it's been my first vacation since I was like 18, so I was just over the moon.
Amazing.
I was thrilled. Yeah. And actually, we were supposed to go out there. So Cotton, she actually applied to law school out there.
I saw on Facebook.
Yeah. So plans had changed, but we still decided to go out there and just take some time off, take some time, away from our computers and stress over here. I mean, it's not bad, but, and we really didn't have anything planned, because it's kind of hard to plan a vacation when a lot of things are closed, and then you have to be super careful with like COVID and everything. But we mainly just walked. Like, I have never walked so much in my life.
Oh, I feel that.
Like, my legs were hurting. And we also ate out a lot. I'm still thinking about this drink that I had. It was cucumber, ginger ale, lime, and agave, non-alcoholic, and it was freaking amazing.
I love that. We love a good NA drink, like a mocktail, essentially. That sounds so good. Yum.
We went and got the stuff to make it, and we're like, okay, like it's only 4 things. It's gonna turn out so amazing. And I don't know what they put in there, or if they like sprinkle some like magic on there or something.
Right. Exactly.
It didn't taste how it tasted out there. But oh my gosh.
That's always the way. I know. Recreating something at home, it's just never the same. Like, it just isn't. I don't know if there's some type of like restaurant secret, but I've never successfully recreated like a delicious meal out at home or drink or any of it. It's just not the same. They have maybe it's just a special touch made with love at the restaurant.
There's so much love. Yeah. I'm trying to think of what other food. We also got this ice cream, and it was like, I got like a cinnamon roll vanilla thing, but like, you think about it and you're like, okay, but when I tried it, oh my goodness, it was so good.
That sounds so good.
So good.
Love cinnamon flavored things and like Cinnamon Toast Crunch, one of my faves. Which, have you been paying any attention to the
Yeah.
Cinnamon Toast Crunch shrimp tail drama? Absolutely insane. I haven't found any in my cereal yet personally, but I have been following the Twitter threads. The memes have been amazing.
I think I saw like an update from him of what he's been like tweeting, and I guess it didn't happen. Like he literally just wanted that for attention. So he
It
like
was fake.
I think it was.
Oh my God, he
I'm
would.
pretty sure. I know.
I mean, that's like the most ridiculous thing because, like, as consumers, I don't know. I do feel like in this way we so have the power because, like, what are they going to be like? No, you didn't find shrimp tails in your thing. Like, what an outlandish claim. But at the same time, if you are faking that, like you're kind of an asshole because they're probably getting sued like crazy.
Exactly. And I'm like, how can you get shrimp in like cereal?
That's
Like
what where's the crossover? Yeah, it does.
yeah, it never just crawls in there. Like, can you imagine that?
And like you're not even probably making those things in the same fact. Like there's just no way. You're not like slicing and dicing shrimp up for the like fish cart at Whole Foods in the same factory that you're boxing your Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's not happening.
I just have to see. And now I have to see what's going on. Cinnamon.
Yeah, right. I know it's so funny. This is the kind of drama I like live for now that I'm just like stuck up in my house all day long. Like someone found shrimp in their Cinnamon Toast Crunch. Let's do an absolute internet divulgence and and then so many people create amazing content from it. Like literally the memes have had me rolling on the floor. It's amazing. But that is why I love the internet.
Oh my God, they have like someone photoshopped.
Oh no.
And it says, "Oops, all shrimp," and it's literally like a bowl of shrimp.
Ew. Oh, yeah. We love the internet. See, you could be putting your graphic design work to much better use, Ashley. You could be pretending that there's shrimp in your cereal and suing everybody. Could you imagine? No, you're too sweet for that. So, and we're too busy freelancing and trying to earn our money the hard way.
Yep, exactly.
That's what we should. We're just really taking the high road when we should just be suing corporate companies. That is the lesson. Yeah. But that's so fun. I know I literally haven't been on a vacation in forever. I'm trying to convince James to take me up to his parents' cabin. It's literally like an hour away, but just something to get away. You know, like it's just like the principle of the thing. It's not like Madison's fine, but I've also been stuck here for a while, so I'd like to go do something. Like it's just, but I'm glad you guys got that time. I literally haven't been to DC, I think, since like our 8th grade field trip. And I think it would be a lot cooler now. I don't think I was really as appreciative as an 8th grader as I would be now, because DC is a cool place. I mean, obviously, like how much was open, would you say?
Well, I think there was only like 2 museums open, or just like a couple of them. In terms of like restaurants, I feel like a lot of them were open. A lot of people were mainly outside, which was nice.
Sure. Yeah. The weather was probably great.
It was great. Yeah, it rained the day when we came in, but other than that, like it was just beautiful outside.
Jealous.
And we actually stayed kind of on the outskirts, so we took a lot of like the metros and stuff to get there.
Mm-hmm.
And everyone that I had seen, I think there was maybe like 2 or 3 people, like everyone was super like cooperative, like everybody had a mask on, and I felt super like safe.
That's good. Yeah.
Even on the airplane too, because it's like if you don't have one on, like you're gonna get kicked out.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, okay, I'm just gonna mask up.
Yeah. Oh, I was going to ask if you flew or drove. Yeah, I haven't been on an airplane literally throughout this entire thing, but I honestly feel like that all things considered, would be one of the safer places because of how regulated it is. Like if you, like, yeah, like you have to have a mask on. People are not playing games on that plane.
They are not. Nope.
Yeah, I mean, how many, would you have a full flight or was it like pretty open?
So it's not because what I thought when we left is like I thought like the plane wouldn't be filled up and it would be like, one person here and then a one person. It would be more like spread out. But I feel like only one of our flights was pretty full. We actually had a lot of like delays. They weren't like major, which was great. We almost did. I was like, oh shit, like
That's the worst.
I don't want that.
No.
But a couple of like the Chicago flights actually got canceled and like people had to stay overnight in the airport.
Oh.
I think that was actually here in Madison, if I'm thinking about it. But that was like intense. And then there were some people that like just missed their flight by like a minute and they were like literally sprinting to get there. They're like, can you like let me on? And they're like, I'm sorry, no. And they're like, it's been 2 minutes, let me on. And they're like, no. And that's what I thought we would have had to do because our first flight from Madison to Chicago, because we took 2 of them. And our first flight, I thought we were going to miss our second one. So I was so scared because the Chicago airport is huge.
Yeah, it's massive. And it's like hard to navigate too. Like you just can't actually get anywhere fast. Even if you're running, like good luck. But that's good. I'm glad you didn't miss it. Well, yeah, I mean, I am excited to fly again. I mean, the second I'm vaccinated, put me on a fucking plane. Like I'm ready to go somewhere. Fly me out to someplace, take me to the beach, whatever it is. Like I'm ready. But yeah, I mean, I did see that they're opening vaccinations for all of Wisconsin for, I think for like 16 and up, like April 5th. So faster than I thought. I'm going to try and get my ass on a list. We'll see. But I'm very excited. I just like, I feel like there's this air of hope and people are just ready to get back to life. Like I've been going out to eat a little bit more and just kind of, some things I wasn't doing quite as much during winter. And I would say, yeah, like definitely a part of it is just because it has gotten nicer, even here in Madison, although I'm sure it wasn't as nice as DC, but we'll take what we can get. But yeah, I don't know. I just feel like I'm so glad it's spring and like, I just feel like it's the beginning of the end, or, at least I hope.
Yeah, we're actually maybe planning on going back in person to work, I think
really?
June 1st. But I mean, we have the opportunity to stay at home if we want, or like go in for a little bit and come back home. Like we have like lots of flexibility, and I actually like live super close too. So it's kind of like convenient for me if I want to go in for a little bit, then I can, and staying home and stuff. But I'm kind of excited to get out and actually like be around people and actually like kind of meeting them again for like the second, third time. I mean,
right, exactly.
It sounds kind of strange for me to say that. Yeah.
Yeah. Because for me, I feel like I liked working from home at the beginning. It was kind of nice. And now I am ready. And for me, I'm in a similar boat. I literally haven't met anyone in person besides like I went in on my first day and grabbed like a work computer. So I met a couple people, but all things considered, I haven't really met anyone on my team in person. And I guess like now, just with the way things are headed, I am like kind of looking forward to some in-person work. I'm ready for a balance. Like I want to be able to have the flexibility, but I think for a bit, like going in kind of sounds nice.
Yeah, it kind of like breaks it up a bit. And just like I said, having that like personal connection with them, and like, because I feel like when you're talking through a computer, you can't see like their facial expressions all that much, or like how they're like moving, or I don't know. It's just like it's different. And like me, like I feel more comfortable like with like a meeting with like a handful of people, but when it comes to me like talking to a huge group of people, like
Totally.
I remember once I had like a meeting with like 60 others and I had to introduce myself. That was scary.
Was that over Zoom or was that like in person when you first started? Zoom. Yeah.
Even in person, I feel like that would be scary, but
Mm-hmm.
just like, I don't know, I'm better off with just talking like with one other person or like a handful, but
Mm-hmm.
it's just, yeah, it's like a different kind of communication.
Oh, totally, totally. I mean, like, yeah, that's like what we were talking about right at the beginning. You don't get the water cooler talk or just kind of the little side chats and you don't get to know people as much because you're not just going to hop on like a Zoom and be like, you know, what's your favorite color? How was your weekend? Like, what's your dog's name? Like, you're not gonna, like, you're kind of just going to be like, all right, here's the agenda for today. Like, like, that's just kind of the way it works, which is fine. But yeah, like, I just miss some of that, I guess, like, more, oh, what's the word I'm looking for? Um, Not as stuffy, you know?
That is like forced in a way. I
Yeah.
mean, I feel like I try actually to do that. I'm like, hey, how are you?
Mm-hmm.
I try to start conversation with them, but then I kind of feel like I'm getting off topic or I'm not concentrating on what I'm supposed to do. But it's like I don't want to just talk to everyone like, hey, check out this review, or hey, I schedule this out. Like I actually want to like talk with them because it's
Mm-hmm.
like you don't really get the chance to check in on, people that you speak to every
Mm-hmm.
day. And I think that's like important, especially now with like everything that's happening and like some people are like going through a lot emotionally and
Totally.
physically. And sometimes you just need someone to be like, hey, how are you?
Yeah. And like mean it. Yeah. Right. Like,
Like,
yeah.
mean it. Yeah,
Yeah. No, I
exactly.
totally feel that. Well, and I will say we're kind of wrapping up on a little hour here, but I am glad that I feel like we got to do that on this. That's why I love this podcast. Like, it just kind of forces me. I shouldn't say force because I want to do it, but it really like gets me to actually go and just like catch up with people who I don't get to see all the time like you. So I will say I'm so glad we had the opportunity to do this. And I don't know, I'm pretty excited like about all of the things that you have going on. Your job sounds super fucking cool. And I don't know, I'm happy for you. It's always so good to see you thriving, even if it's just over social. But I'm glad we got to connect this way as well.
I'm so happy and I'm so grateful that I got to speak with you today. I know we haven't talked for a bit. So what are you doing at the moment now? Like,
Yeah,
what's
so
your
I literally just got a new job, but it's at a marketing agency here in Madison. It's called Ideas That
Hmm.
Evoke. If you know it,
Yep.
it's prominent.
Hmm.
I definitely knew about it in college as well, but it's cool because yeah. So I mean, for everyone listening, Ashley and I met because we both worked at Be Inspired Salon, and then that was never like a place like I never intended to end up in the salon industry necessarily. I didn't know a ton about it before starting that job, but I liked it and I liked the people, and it's kind of like a different. I'm drawn to those people too, I think, because I love creatives, but like I think that it's just kind of like it's such a unique industry and I really liked it. And this Ideas That Evoke works on some salon industry clients as well. So that's pretty cool. And I'm on some cool clients. I think they definitely took my like salon professional background into consideration because their portfolio isn't all like hair industry. They do some of the marketing for like UW-Madison, Food Fight Group, things like that. But yeah, I'm really enjoying it. And I just feel I'm an account executive. So I mean, the title is the title, but yeah, so like it's cool. And I feel like I don't know, I'm using a lot of my brain power. It just feels, it's good. I'm loving it right now.
I'm happy for you. That's
Thank you.
awesome. You're welcome.
Well, and thank you so much for joining me. I'm just so glad we had the opportunity to do this. And I mean, I'll definitely keep up with you after this as well, but we'll have to do this again sometime. This was so much fun.
Sounds great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. And thank you guys all for listening. And I will be back to chat with you again next week.